I love this city when it rains. The sound as it taps on your window pane.
I've been feeling really sad this week. After a short visit, my family left on Monday. Since then, I felt as though I'm carrying around a big, heavy rain cloud. I've lived away from my family for years now, but it never gets any easier to say goodbye. In fact, I think it might get harder. I'm 35 on Wednesday, and naively, I didn't think homesickness was something you felt as you got older. I thought I'd grow out of it when I had my own family. I still feel just as sad when they leave, maybe even more so than before. As I get older, my perspective on life changes rapidly. I've realised how fleeting our time on Earth is, how precious each moment is, and how vulnerable us humans are. We could be here one moment and gone the next. Thinking about this certainly makes living away from loved ones really hard. Of course, as life gets busy and time passes again, the grief of them leaving goes away. But it's been harder to shift this time. It could be down to the weather this week. It's rained every day. I hate resisting the seasons because they're going to change whether I like it or not. So to cheer myself up, I'm going to have a cozy autumnal day. Okay, let's give this pumpkin spice a try. Oh my gosh, I am absolutely covered in mud. Wow, that is incredible. Oh my gosh, that is so nice. That's way better than the Starbucks version, in my opinion. I brewed it with some tea, so I put some tea in it, and I think that's added a bit of depth of flavour because I didn't want to have coffee. I really do think there's nothing like making your own version of something. And you can also control then what goes in it. So I've got a batch for this week, and then I've also made a batch here, which I'm going to pop in the freezer. I used about 2 tablespoons or 2 to 3 tablespoons in each mug with some soya milk, and then the tea and some hot water. And oh my gosh, it's just so nice. I actually made a vegan pumpkin pie last year, and pumpkin pie was never really a thing here. I never had it when I was little, but it was just incredible. So I'm such a pumpkin convert. I'm really excited to go to the pumpkin patch again this year because we did that last year and we got loads of crown prince, which taste amazing. So, oh my gosh, it's so nice. I'm gonna give it to George to try. I made him one too.
I don't wanna go, but it's too late to stay. With a broken heart, I'm feeling about twice my age. And now I'm asking myself, is it still what I want? 'Cause every word's like sandpaper on my tongue.
It really feels like autumn is in the air. Coming out for a walk always makes me feel so much better because I can just really process all my feelings. The clouds literally look like marshmallows. It's so cool. It doesn't even look real. That just makes my problems feel so small and insignificant. I feel really lucky to live here and just be around all this greenery and all this nature. It's so peaceful. And I can't stop looking at the sky. It looks so beautiful.
So take it away.
I'm shy and introverted, so I like to believe that I don't really need to be around people, that I'm fine on my own. But when I see people spending time with their families, I do get jealous, and I hate to admit it. So many of my friends have these huge families and they have these big parties and get-togethers, and it just sounds so perfect. And if I'm being totally honest, it's why I always find myself crying when I watch the Kardashians. I can't believe I'm admitting that I watch the Kardashians to you. That show is such a guilty pleasure of mine. But I think watching this huge, tight-knit family makes me really emotional because I don't really have that. They're always pushing this family is the most important thing narrative,
which I'm sure is a marketing ploy, but it does make me feel really emotional. And I don't know, it's something about it, but I just love seeing them all come together and hang out. Maybe it's some kind of crazy self-punishment because my own family is fragmented and it feels fragile. I've had to part ways with lots of my family for different reasons, and some of us just live miles away from each other, so we don't have that closeness. But when it comes to having certain people in or out your life, I know it's for the best, and I don't believe we should allow someone to be in our lives just because they're family. But it doesn't stop me wishing I had this picture perfect one. Over the years, I've watched friends return to where they came from, and I've always thought it was strange. I never wanted to return back to where I grew up. But now I'm kind of seeing the appeal. For me though, it would be such a big sacrifice to give up my life and my friends here in the south of England. For a long time, this is where I felt like I really belonged. I guess another reason I've never felt the pull to move back to where I came from is because George and I don't have children. I know lots of people migrate home because they need help with childcare or they want their child to grow up knowing their grandparents really well. We don't plan to have any children, so this has never been a decision we've needed to make or needed to think about. In a way, I can see how that makes life easy and simple, but on the other hand, it also makes it harder to put down roots and make a decision about where we're going to live and where we're going to stay. One of the things I love most about people coming to visit is baking and cooking for someone other than George and I. I made some cinnamon buns for my parents on the weekend, and they joked about how much weight they'd put on if they lived closer to me. It would definitely be hard to stop myself going over on a weekly basis with whatever I'd decided to bake that week. I love the process of baking and cooking. It helps me relax and process my emotions. So I'm always doing it, but there's something so lovely about sharing it with other people too. With autumn dawning on us, I'm beginning to crave soups and casseroles and roast dinners, all the hearty and warming food. I don't think there is anything more comforting than a homemade soup. It literally heats you up while you're eating it. So it's absolutely perfect for chilly days and on days when you kind of feel like you need a hug from the inside out. I've never made a black bean soup before, but we'd soaked these beans ready for cooking, so I thought I'd see what I could come up with. Despite how hard I try, I always tend to make a little bit too much soup, so I like to add to it over a couple of days. By the time we're on the last portion, it ends up tasting completely different from the first one, which I quite like actually. That's why I've always been put off batch cooking. The idea of eating the exact same meal every day has always made me feel a bit overfaced.
Okay, let's give this soup a try. I thought it would be more black beanie than it actually has turned out, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's really nice. I absolutely love making soup and eating soup. I feel like it's such an easy meal to make in winter, and it's just so cozy, and it literally just heats you up from the inside, which is perfect on a chilly day. I thought it was going to be raining all day, but actually it was just this morning, so that's quite nice. I've ended up getting it on my scarf. I'm just covered. I need to remember to wear an apron. I always forget. And I am just absolutely filthy. Soup on my scarf. Oh my gosh.
Knew which road I would go down. Thought I could do it all on my
I just can't believe autumn is here again. I love this season, but I do feel slightly overwhelmed with the fact that summer is over and we may have a long, cold winter ahead of us. I try and embrace all the seasons, but I think with any ending, there is always going to be a little bit of sadness. And I'm slowly learning that that's totally fine. Maybe that's why the grief of my family leaving has been particularly strong this time, because it's mirrored the end of summer too. I know it won't last forever though, Nothing ever does. That's the thing with seasons and emotions, they don't last. I will see my family again. Autumn will pass. Times will change. Everything keeps moving on, and that's always comforting to me. So I need to remember to enjoy moments and seasons and life for just what it is. I don't want to wish my time away. I want to be present and grateful for things just as they are.
Where are you going to sit? You're going to sit here. It's finally time to start for like the third time, The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. Remember I kept saying that I started this book a couple of times and wasn't in the right headspace, and also didn't think I was in the right season. I really wanted to wait until autumn. Well, George actually read this last week and he said it was brilliant, so that got me really excited about reading it, and he loved it so much so that he's actually bought the second one. So now we have the series, which is really cool. So I'm just gonna sit here and start this, and I'm really excited because it's about vampires, so it feels very autumnal and really appropriate for this season. And then it's a kind of enemies to lovers story, which are just my absolute favourite. I don't know how many of the enemies to lovers genre I can read, but I just don't seem to get sick of it. I actually just finished Sophie Irwin's book, which I will leave the title of it because my memory, honestly, I'm just like a goldfish sometimes. Can't remember the name of it, but it was the second book of hers that I read, and it is absolutely brilliant. It was even better, like I thought, than the How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days. It was so good, oh my gosh, and my heart was melting at the end of it. I loved it so much. It's been a little while actually because I hosted my family here and August was quite full on, so I haven't had an evening in to read for quite a long time, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I feel like that's what this book needs. I think I'm going to really enjoy it because I really trust George and I have quite similar taste in books. So I think I'm going to really love it. But I think just what I need is just to concentrate on it, really get into the world and really just immerse myself in this. This is what autumn is about for me and winter is about. This is what I get so excited about. I get through so many books. I have so many long evenings just to spend time with myself and get immersed in just all these amazing worlds, and it's just the best.
Doing these autumnal activities today definitely helped me feel a bit better, and it's made me look forward to this next season. I'm so glad I gave myself time today to sit and process my emotions and just accept them. I don't feel completely fixed, but I do feel grateful that I have loved ones to miss.